good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're watching this. But welcome, and today I'm going to talk about what I am using for language arts for my 2026-2027 school year. But first, I want to explain why I titled this video the way I did. It is not clickbait. I really did make a mistake last year. I'm using the same company as last year for language arts, but I made a mistake with it last year. So last year was my first year using it. It's Institute for Excellence in Writing. But the mistake I made was when I was ordering it, I was like, I got this, even though it says like, just if it's your first year, just order the first level and do that with all your kids and then just move them all up so that they're all doing the same thing. And I'm like, I got this. I'm like, I don't want it to be too elementary for my middle schoolers and high schoolers. So I'm just going to get the appropriate age level because it does have ages on it. But now that I've done it for a year and I did that, they actually did contact me after I ordered it the first year, and they're like, you know, you only need one of them, right? You don't need both. And I'm like, oh, I know. And I'm like, just send me both. I should have listened to them and just gotten the one. But yeah, so if you're thinking about trying Institute for Excellence of Writing, and you want to use it for all your kids, just get 1 year of it, like the first year of it, because yeah, you're going to overwhelm yourself if you do multiple grade levels. Because the way it works, it's basically the same thing every year, but like more advanced as it progresses, like longer writing assignments and things like that, and maybe adding a little bit more technique to it. But yeah, it's basically the same format every year, but like I said, it just gets harder. So I would suggest definitely just doing one level with your entire family. And sometimes the videos can be like almost an hour long. So if you time that by 2, that's like 2 hours just doing the videos, not even doing the assignment part. So yeah, you definitely want to just do one if you want a shorter day. And yeah, also the other thing I will suggest with this, well, what we did personally was I didn't make my kids do every writing assignment, because there's like a writing assignment basically every week. I think like every week. Some of them are short, some of them are long, but yeah, I didn't want to overwhelm my kids, especially since it was their first year doing this, and a lot of them have basically just been doing like grammar type stuff and not a whole lot of writing, but I wanted to implement a lot more writing. That's why I got this. But yeah, so I don't make my kids do a writing assignment every week. I was trying to do at least every other week, so that they're just like getting used to writing more. But yeah, just do what works for your family. Don't feel guilty if you don't do every single writing assignment. Do what you can, because yeah, you can overwhelm yourself. I'm sure you're well aware of like your own personal limits. For me, my personal limit is not every week. But I also had a friend who in their co-op, they use the same thing. She said their co-op season isn't as long as the curriculum is, so they don't do every week. They just do, I think they pick and choose which weeks they do, but like in order out of the weeks that they've chosen. But yeah, so they don't do every week either, but I think they do probably have a writing assignment every week of the ones that they cover anyway. So anyway, let's get to it. I will say, I ordered this back, I think in July. They had their free shipping going on. So that's what I wanted to take advantage of, because that only happens once a year. So my favorite thing out of this entire curriculum isn't the writing. I'll tell you what it is. so my favorite thing, and honestly, my, she's now 12, my 12-year-old daughter was actually really bummed when we finished grammar. So our grammar that we use, sorry, it's still all in the paper. I literally have had this box sitting on my floor since the beginning of July. But yeah, so we're doing year 2. Like I said, ignore the grade levels. Just if you're starting out with it, just start at the bottom and work your way up. So grammar, this year they'll be going through Town House and Country Mouse. And the way this works is it's really actually pretty neat. I usually write this sentence on the board. There's only 30 weeks in this one, so you will finish it before probably the rest of your curriculum. At least I know I will, because like I said in the previous video, we go for 36 weeks. So this is 30 weeks of grammar. And the way this works is it breaks down a story, and then you make the grammatical corrections, and it tells you what you need to find. First you read it, and then the word in bold is going to be the vocabulary word for the day. You can write them down if you want, and maybe do flashcards if you feel like your kids need them. But so for this one, they're going to find the vocabulary word. They're not going to do anything with it. We're just going to probably discuss what assorted means. And then there's 2 articles. So with the articles, I believe they write an AR above them. I'm trying to remember from last year. I have the teacher's manual, so I'll have to refresh myself. So I believe they write AR above it, possibly underline it. I'm not sure. But anyway, and then they identify the 5 nouns that they just write an N above. I know that for sure. And then a capital, if there's any capitalization mistakes, like something's not capitalized, you put 3 lines underneath it, which I feel like is pretty standard, because when my kids have had to do proofreading assignments for other curriculum, it's always 3 lines underneath the letter that needs to be capitalized, and then an end mark, so either period, question mark, or exclamation point. And that's just how every day goes. I think it's 4 days a week, not 5. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 4 days a week. Oh, and each week there is a little starter section that explains you want to learn what a noun is and how to identify them, then the article, adjective, and then there's capitalization and end marks. So there's always, and indentation is on there as well. So there's always like a little thing that they're supposed to learn on the first day of the week. And then you go into the assignments. And it's pretty simple. Like I said, I usually write them on our dry erase board, and we work through them as a family. And my kids were killing it. I was shocked, because I was like, man, they have grown so much in grammar this year from doing these books. It was absolutely amazing. I mean, if you don't want to do the writing, which I think you should, but the grammar book, these grammar books, compared to other grammar books we've done, these have been absolutely the best grammar books. So I got, I think, 8 of these because I have 8 kids. No, I think I have 8 of my kids are still in school. For a second there, I was like, wait. Yeah, so 8 of my kids will be doing this. I even have my senior doing it this year, because I had him do I think American literature last year, and we didn't really like the format of what we were doing. So I'm like, how about you do this? Because I feel like this is better preparing you for your future to do this, even though it's only year 2. Like I said, everyone just do the same grade level. So there's 8 of these that I need to get on our homeschool shelf. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see what my homeschool shelf looks like. It's not anything impressive. It's a good way to just keep everything organized. So yeah, and then if you saw this last year, every kid gets their binder, their student Structure and Style Binder. This is the writing curriculum from IEW. This is year 2 of A, because like, yeah, it's A, B, and C, I think, are their different levels. And this is year 2. I think there's only 2 years to each level. So, and then there's a college prep one too. So, yeah, and then it's got like all the different sections in there, which you will learn about. I did actually watch, last year, I did actually watch the instruction video on how to use this curriculum. And that was actually really, really helpful. It helped me to understand what I was getting myself into, even though I got myself into too much. Like I said, I made a mistake getting 2 levels. But yeah, so all the different things. There's source text, model charts and outlines, work in progress, finished compositions, and then I think there's like more back there as well. So the binder, and then what goes in the binder is there. I don't think I see paper in here. Interesting. I think it's missing. Oh, never mind. There's paper. There's also paper in the back because if you're at all familiar with IEW, they do keyword outline. And so this is a way to do keyword outlines when you have like multiple sources, is to have like this big piece of paper and fold it and have multiple keyword outlines on one thing. And then you have your student sheets, which will have your source texts that they can mark up to their heart's content, to underline their keywords, and just like, well, all the lessons and everything they need in here. The only thing you need to add is paper, because obviously with the writing assignments. The one thing I will say that I actually think is really smart, and I never would have thought of too with structure and style, is he says write in pen. I remember growing up, it was always pencil, so you can erase any mistakes. But with this, he's like write in pen, because when you're writing, you don't want to disrupt your flow of your train of thought. And so you write in pen, just keep going, and then just go back later and fix the things you need to fix, because you don't want to break that thought process. And I thought that was really helpful, because like, I know like if I get distracted, like, oh, I made a mistake, I need to go back and fix it really, really quick. That can really throw you off. So it's just to really get your focus trained in on what you're writing. So I have 8 of those as well, because I have my high school senior doing this with us this year as well. And I did get the starter pack so that I can get the streaming that goes with it, because I like how he teaches. And honestly, some of the sessions he starts out with dad jokes, which my kids kind of either roll their eyes at or love, because I technically am the dad joke teller in my house. My husband did not inherit that. I inherited it from my dad, so I make up for it. But anyway, so yeah, sometimes there's dad jokes, sometimes there's like little funny stories that he tells or props. And so I'd like to do the forever streaming, so I got the level 2 teacher pack that comes with my code and everything that I need for that to happen, and just like teacher, it comes with like teacher's manual and things like that. So yeah, that I think is really all I have to say about this. I'm just like, just be smart, don't do what I did. And I highly recommend this, because even with my kids, some of them are, like I've mentioned before, are struggling readers and are doing so much better this year, by the way, if you're keeping up with that. But like, they've grown a lot just this year, especially my one that really struggles has grown tons and tons in his reading. And yeah, so even with my struggling readers, I feel like I don't want to overwhelm them with writing, because like reading and writing, you know, kind of go hand in hand, because it's still language stuff. So I feel like just having them watch the lessons and trying to do the assignments has really helped them this last year. And so I highly recommend this because it teaches writing in a way that I wouldn't have personally thought of, that just makes sense and makes it so much easier for the beginner writer, and even for someone like me who's been writing since, I don't know how long, probably second or third grade, whenever they really make you start doing writing assignments in school. I think even first grade they have you write short, like little silly stories. So a long time ago. I'm 43, so that's quite some time ago. But yeah, so anyway, I highly recommend IEW. That's why I'm going with it again, is because it has been my favorite curriculum to use for this. I think it just teaches it so much better than other books I've used. I mean, granted, you're not going to want to start like a first or second grader with this because it is pretty intense. And I think it even suggests starting it at like third or fourth grade. So I would find something that works for those younger ages. Like, what I recommend would be either Bob Jones University English. I used for a while. My two oldest kids, I think, used it up until like middle school. And then I switched to Language Lessons for a Living Education from Master Books. Also works pretty well. So if you just need to fill in that gap for a little bit, those are my two recommendations. They work pretty great. And then once you can, I highly recommend this. Like I said, the Fix-It Grammar was my 12-year-old absolute favorite subject because it only lasts 30 weeks. And so we're done before the school year. She was like, oh man, we're done with my favorite subject. And then I think the structure and style, the writing part of it, is only 28 weeks from what I remember. I mean, I don't want to open up the worksheets, but I'm pretty sure it's only 28 weeks. So you'll be done like a month and a half, 2 months before the rest of your school year if you do 36 weeks like I do. But yeah, I hope this will maybe get you thinking about trying out IEW, or maybe just at least checking it out to see if it would be a good fit for your family. It's funny because every time, like a couple times I mentioned that I got it and I'm doing it for the first year to some people at church, and they're like, oh, I absolutely love IEW. And I was like, okay, that's a good sign. But yeah. I think I just overwhelmed myself a little bit too much the first year with the 2 levels, but this year should go a lot more smoothly, and so I'm looking forward to it, and I think my kids are too, especially the one that likes the grammar. But yeah, so highly recommend IEW, at least giving it a look if you haven't considered it in the past. It is a bit more on the expensive side, I will say that, but I feel like quality curriculum is worth paying the price for. Because yeah, like I said, I've seen growth with my kids on this, and it's just really made a lot of sense and clicked for them. So I mean, writing isn't easy for everybody. A lot of my kids didn't really like doing the writing assignments anyway, but yeah, so but at least, like I said, at least if they're watching the video, if they're doing some of the assignments, I feel like they are picking up on it. And so I feel like it's really helps them grow a lot, for sure. And I hope the same for you all, if you choose to use this, that you see huge growth in writing and grammar. Because yeah, like I said, the grammar, like my absolute favorite grammar we have ever used, because yeah, like my kids, I was like shocked how quickly by the end of the year they were identifying like all the even adverbs and adjectives and all those things. And so I was just very impressed by it. So anyways, I will stop rambling because I feel like I'm starting to ramble a bit. And I hope you found this video helpful. Maybe it'll help you make some decisions if you're still on the fence about what you want to do for language arts. But yeah, I hope to see you all next time. Bye.